Hi there, welcome back to another episode of Coffee Corner. Today is your episode 105. It's gonna sound like a midnight radio just because it is a night here and I just put my little one to sleep. I don't want to wake him up, so that's why I want to keep my voice a little bit low. Hope you don't mind. So today I want to talk about something. I actually recorded a letter to myself about accepting myself. I've been thinking about this topic. I think it is very helpful when you think about accepting yourself. There are a lot of things that when you say it, it sounds so easy, it sounds so obvious, but when you do it, it's very difficult. So why I want to do accept myself this topic, just because I want to tell myself, I want to remind myself that I need to acknowledge every part of myself and accept it. If I decide to not be friendly with myself or not be friendly with parts of myself, then I'm going to feel awkward. I'm going to feel uncomfortable. And overall, I'm not going to feel confident or happy um, overall. That's why I think it's very important to talk about that. Also, to remind yourself that it is okay to accept every part of yourself. What I mean by every part of yourself is sometimes we struggle, right? We have the bright side. Now we think life is so good, future is so bright, everything is so promising. But then sometimes you have downtime, you think everything is just so terrible, and worst the worst, you might even think about ending your life. Those kind of things. I think it's just because when it comes to admit, or when it comes to accept the things, naturally we want to accept the good things because good things are joyful, right? Are enjoyable, and bad things are very painful. And then we avoid pain. That's our human nature. But when you do that, and then you start to feel conflicting. For example, sometimes you have evil thoughts, right? So when it comes to, let's say you're jealous of somebody and then you start to have some evil thoughts there, might not be very extreme, but just a little bit there. And then you start to hate yourself because how come you have thought like that? Because you're not that kind of person. You're kind, you're nice, you're supposed to be generous, and you're supposed to give compliments to the other person, but you just can't do it. Then you start to really doubt yourself because you think you're so bad. That is when you can tell yourself two things are true, right? You can be happy for your friend because they've accomplished a lot, they've achieved a lot, or you can also feel bad about yourself because you didn't do, or you haven't done much, and you didn't do what she did, and that's why you ended up being here. And you can also feel really jealous of your friend, that sometimes you don't want her or you don't want him to be that good, just because there's a comparison and you don't feel comfortable with that. That is okay. But for us, the difficult part is to admit that part of you is like this. Part of you doesn't want your friend to do good. Okay, you can admit that. Nothing wrong with it. That doesn't make you a bad person. It just, people are full of emotions, feelings, and that's part of it. And sometimes we do have that. We're not sent. We can't do everything perfectly. We can't just hope everything to be nice, right? Everyone to be nice. It's just sometimes impossible. There might be people who can do it, but I'm definitely not one of them. Right? So you have to admit that. That's why when I think about accepting myself, that I don't want to hate myself, then I have to admit that part of me is really bad, part of me is really evil, but that is okay. I'm not going to do something really bad. I'm not going to break law or commit a crime or something. That is very important because that's how you discipline yourself, how you restrict yourself. And one thing before I really get into accepting ourselves or accepting myself, that topic, I really want to mention one thing I learned from Huberman Lab. That was very interesting when I listened to it while walking Bob. It's you can record your you can record a map of your growth, and that's how he mentioned that. I might be wrong, but I kind of got a little bit grip of that. So if you've listened to that episode, you can leave your comments to correct me if I'm wrong about that. So what he said that you can have a journal, either paper or digital. You can have that, and you create a Word document. You start to write major things that you can remember since you can remember things. Let's say you remember something major happened to you when you were 6. You write it down. You don't have to go fancy. You don't have to think about how am I going to word that? How am I going to make it beautiful? You don't even have to think about format. You can just basically, uh, write down the year. If you can remember even the months or something, which I think quite impossible, but you can, if you don't remember the year, you can say maybe around 6 or something. So you can group that, like say 3 to 6. And then you have 7 to 9, those kind of things. So you have the kind of group of the age. Now, if something major happened to you that affected your life, affect how you behave, how you talk, or even affect your personality, you write it down and you start to realize this is why I ended up here, or this is why I am what I am and where I am right now. So that is very interesting. And also, I start to realize the importance of doing that is you can start to map out your whole journey of growth and see whether you like it or not. If something, let's say at age of 6, I think I remembered um, I was playing with someone, and then that girl said I stole her bike, which I didn't because she forgot her bike in front of the community, and then she said, "Oh, Bay stole that," and then her parents came to my parents and said, and of course I got hacked by my dad saying that, and they didn't even give me a chance to explain. So for me, that was very major, and I started to affect my personality because I also want to make sure I didn't do something wrong. If I did, I didn't even get a chance to explain things, which makes me what I am right now. I'm very strict with myself, and I don't want to do anything that is off the track, right? And when I'm older, and then I start to realize how my parents told me not to do to do certain kind of things, and they don't care about how you feel, and that is why now when I feel about certain things, and especially when I have negative emotions, I feel like I should not acknowledge that. I should not admit that's part of me, and I hate myself, and I don't like that. And but I realized that's a reason how I got here. Then I started to work on myself and then try to fix or improve myself in that certain way. And I can tell myself next time when I make a mistake, it's not a big deal. I can forgive myself as long as I can make up for it. Right. So that's how I start to use this technique to help myself grow better or improve better, especially when it comes to mental health. So, why I'm mentioning this before I want to say accept myself is there's certain things that you can help yourself fix it, and you can improve that, and then you start to record yourself, record the journey of your growth, of your development, and you start to figure out the pattern, and you decide whether you like the pattern or not. If you like it, you like the way how you grow up or things like that, and you can continue to do what are doing right now. If you don't like it because let's say if it has a negative impact on you, and you say, you know what, I really don't like it, I'm going to get rid of that bad habit and start a new journey, and I'm going to really put myself on track and then start fresh, right? So reset. That's how I find it very interesting. And of course, there are certain things that you're not going to be able to fix it, or you're not going to be able to fix it in a very short time. Then that's when you need to be friendly with yourself, when you need to, hey, shake hands with the enemy of yourself and then start to say, I accept that as part of me, and then I'm not ashamed of that, and it is what it is. The reason you do that, or the benefit of doing that, will make you feel more harmonious. That's how I feel about myself. Like sometimes I feel very twisted, I feel very conflicting, and just because I can't be friendly with myself and I hate part of me, but I like part of me, right? So let's say, use the social media as an example, right? I have a couple friends who are doing the same content and or similar content, and they're doing really well. They really took off, and I'm still staying the same. Um, state or same situation. And then I start to doubt myself, like, oh, am I doing something wrong? And then I start to think about, I'm jealous of those people, and then their content is just as good as mine. Why can't I get the same volume there, same data there? Those are the things I start to think about. And then I start to have the thought that, why am I thinking about that? Right. And then when I wrote down my emotions and things like that, and I can acknowledge myself saying that those emotions are real and they exist. Some of the things I can't do, some things I can't, and then I can split that and then work on the things I can do, and then just leave the struggle behind if I can't fix that. So that is very important to me. So I don't have to stew about it so hard for a very long time, which is kind of time consuming. Also, it's inner consuming for yourself, inner energy consuming for yourself as well, right? So you want to focus on something primarily important for you, not something really tedious and meaningless, right? So that's what I'm thinking about that. I started to practice those techniques to help myself be friends with, and of course I have a lot of struggles, and one of the struggles is being lazy. I can tell myself why I'm still doing what I'm doing right now, and there's nothing that changed because I'm lazy. And then I start to hate myself because I have this ego, I have this ambition, and I want to do big. But I'm lazy. And if you're lazy, you can't take action to make it happen, you're going to have to accept it, right? So you can't complain that, oh, how come, my stuff has never taken off, has never gone viral. Because you're lazy, you don't want to put the amount of effort there to make it happen. And when you see other people doing things like that, or you don't know how much effort and time and energy they put into it and make it happen. So that is an important thing for you to acknowledge, that to know part of me is lazy. If that's something I can't change, I'm going to accept it. And then I can't complain the results I'm not going to get. Right, that's very important. If let's say if you're preparing a test right now, you spend, let's say if you have 3 hours and you spend half of your 3 hours to, let's say, 1.5 hours, of course, on something that is not really important or that really does not matter for your test, and then the other half on the test. And then you're telling yourself you work really hard and you really prepare for the test, but you didn't get good results. So I had that moment too. A part of me would tell me, I didn't work really hard, that's why I didn't get good results. If I worked really hard, I would get results. So that's kind of more like an excuse for myself to leave room for improvement, which is really not true. And if you're doing something like that, you can remind yourself, if this is what you want to get, you have to put smart effort on the thing, okay? You can't just kind of cover your eyes and start to do things in a hard way. That can lead you to even worse situation. But you want to figure out a pattern for yourself, how or what kind of patterns, what kind of skills or tips that work for you. You practice that. And the very beginning might go very slow, or you're a slow learner, you just really can't get the grip of it very fast. That is okay. Also, you have to tell yourself that's a part of you. You have to accept it. And when you accept it, you take your time, you really learn it, and you will get better. Okay? So if you start to deny that part of yourself, you start to look at other people because you want to become other people. They learn fast, they do well, and they start to speak really well. You want to become themselves. You put your focus on other people, not yourself, right? And then you start to deny yourself because you accept other people. You're not going to be friends with yourself, and you're not going to be happy about it, and you start to hate everything, and then you say, what? I'm going to give up, right? That's why accepting yourself is very important, because when you know your weaknesses and strength, you can improve your weaknesses or fix that, or you can even enhance your strength and make it even better, right? And that's how you get to know yourself, and the rest of it, you're just gonna let it be, right? So it is what it is, but first of all, you have to love yourself, accept yourself. And that actually really affects the confidence. And I know a lot of people are talking about, you're going to be confident, there's self-confidence or something like that. It is very hard to talk about confidence when you don't know yourself, right? That's why when I mentioned the Huberman Lab about how you should start to get to know yourself, and then you can build a confidence for yourself. Because when people tell you you're so beautiful, you're doing so well, if your confidence is from other people's compliments, it's very fragile, right? So it's easy to destroy. And you have it, you feel happy. When you can't do it, then you lose your confidence. That happened to me, and I'm the one. I need people to acknowledge my ability, to give me compliments, to say, "Bae, you're doing such a great job. Your English is so great," and then I can feel good. But there are gonna be some people who are gonna say, "You're not doing really good. You're doing something wrong. You're making mistakes." What are you gonna do? You lose your confidence. And you say, "Well, I'm the worst person ever in the world." That's not confidence. That's not a solid confidence. You want solid confidence, you have to be friendly with yourself. I know I'm not good. There's certain things I just can't get it. Yeah, that's a part of me. That's okay. You can tell me my weaknesses. You can say, "Well, babe, you suck." Yeah, I know. Yeah. In the matter of that, I do. But when you acknowledge, when you admit, or when you accept your weaknesses, your flaws, then you start to not care about that. That's when your confidence comes in, and that's what we want. And a lot of people say, "Well, I just don't feel confident." That is also okay. That's part of me. That's part of yourself, and that part of yourself just can't feel confidence. That is okay. And the funny thing is, I feel confident 90% of the time. But when I go to Asian community, when I meet those pretty people and they're so talented, they're so sophisticated, those kind of things, I immediately feel terrible about myself. But that's the situation that's the truth, it's a fact about myself. I have to accept that. I can't change it. That's the way how I grew up, and that's me. I just can't change it. You know what? If possible, I will spend less time with those people. I will spend less time in that kind of area or the vibe. And if that makes me happy, right? And then why do I have to be enemy to myself? That's how you want to figure out yourself and start to accept a part of that. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say. I did write like a part of a journal about that idea, and then I started to think about doing an episode about a letter to Bae, so I can have a little bit more private content about myself, more like my diary kind of thing. But it feels a little bit acting. But anyway, yeah, and I just want to say that if you don't feel comfortable with yourself, write it down, write your emotions, feelings down, write your journey down, and what makes you uncomfortable, why you felt that way. Or when you grow up, there are certain things that affect your personality, your mental health, the way you think. Why? Is that good or not? Do you like it or not? And you start to pick the good one and get rid of the bad one. And if there's certain things that you just can't do anything about it, and you accepted that and you move on. And that's how I feel about accepting myself, this topic. So anyway, that's pretty much everything about this topic. I hope it gives you a little bit highlight, or gives you a little bit kind of ideas about how to love yourself, how to become confident. But leave a comment down below and let me know how you feel about it. And I hope you love yourself, feel confident, be friendly with yourself. See you next time. Take care. Bye.